Hi guys, back again. Yeah, I know how I do this thing where in one day I do like a shitload of videos and then don't do any more for like a really long time. Uh, Shut the fuck up and deal with it. I'm doing videos. I, I got shit I gotta say. So, so yeah, the other stuff that I wanted to talk about, because I did want to take time and do a single video on the whole Futurama thing, because I thought it was so fucked up and deserved the time that I gave it. But here's like a bunch of other random stuff. Let's see. New Harry Potter movie, 2 thumbs up from me. I really liked it. I thought that, like, again, I basically agree with what everybody else said, that it was probably the best of all of the movies so far. I can't remember the name of the director who did this one and the last one, but I like him. He's good in my book. He seems to get the fact that they're not really kids movies anymore. I mean, that's sort of the thing that I think was sort of a disconnect between the books and the movies. They didn't People still sort of think that Harry Potter, on the whole, is sort of a kids thing, but as people who have read the books know, and who are seeing the newer movies, it went from being, for an 11-year-old, but then as the character grew and the stories grew, it started getting a little bit adult and a little bit scary and a little bit more intense. And I think there's still this sort of struggle between keeping it kid friendly and yet still being true to the books. But honestly, I think, as somebody who's read all the books, that the movies aren't really being made for people who haven't read the books. I mean, they are, and I know people who haven't read the books that still enjoy the movies, but I don't know, maybe it's because of the fact that I know all the other little things that they're skipping, but that, I don't know. See, as a movie person, but as also a person who obviously reads books, shockingly enough, I do tend to get pissed off when a movie adaptation isn't as good as the book, or isn't true to the book, or whatever. Um, Case in point, Watchmen, which I'm not going to get into at the moment. I might save that for another video because that's lots of ranting that deserves its own time. But I don't know. In the case of Harry Potter, and I admit I did not come in from the beginning. When Harry Potter first came out, that was when I was like in my hardcore Lord of the Rings phase, and I was very like adamantly against Harry Potter because I thought it was sort of infringing on Tolkien's space. So I didn't pick the books up until right before the third movie came out. And really, that was all because of my severe lust over Gary Oldman. And I really wanted to see the movie, and I really was like, okay, I've seen the first 2 movies, they were pretty good, begrudgingly liked them and everything. So I was finally like, alright, it's time for me to read these books. And I read, I think, up to the 4th one before I saw the 3rd movie. Like, in the few weeks, like, that I decided this, I was like, alright, I'm picking them up. And I could not put them down, and I really, really liked them. And, for anybody who hasn't read them, the first 2 are kids' books-ish. There's still a little bit of, horror and mayhem and stuff that little kids might not be too crazy about, but by the 3rd book, shit starts getting really fucked up and really adult, and, I mean, not really, really adult, I mean, nobody's, like, having sex or anything, or at least it's not explicit, but, serious shit goes down. And once I read the books and started watching movies, I'm like, how could you know what the hell is going on without having read the books? There's obviously a lot that they're leaving out, but I also sort of felt like I didn't care as much, because in this case, I was just so happy to see certain scenes up on screen. You know, like even if it was all choppy and there was things missing, like I could fill in the blanks because I knew what was in those blanks. But like, it it was one of those circumstances where I was just like, does anybody else know what the hell's going on? Because of these big chunks of dialogue, not dialogue, but plot being taken out. And that's sort of how I felt with this one. You know, there was a lot missing. I mean, not as, I think the worst case of stuff just being left out for time, and I understand that. Like, I do understand that sometimes you gotta leave stuff out because, time constraints. You don't want to go making, like, a 3.5, 4-hour movie. But, was, like, the fourth one. That was the worst. Because there was, like, a lot of stuff missing from that one. That I felt was important, at least. But you can disagree. But you're wrong. But anyway. But this one was good, and there was, most of the scenes that I wanted to see from the book turned into, celluloid. I got to see. I mean, of course, there were still little things that I was like, oh, I really wanted to see this, and this they didn't do, and Bill and Charlie weren't there, but what are you gonna do, You hope for deleted scenes on the DVD, I guess. But, it's summer, and it's like time for there be some sort of Harry Potter. And that's the thing, I'm really actually kind of excited that there are going to be 2 more movies, that they're splitting Deathly Hallows into 2 movies, because there's so little to be excited about. This is like, I mean, I remember when Lord of the Rings came out, and, like, I had something to look forward to every year. And that's why I was glad that I got into Harry Potter and that I did like it as much as I did, because then I sort of picked that up as like, okay, this is the series. This is going to be, every year and a half, there's going to be a new movie that I get to go see, and I get to be excited about, and I get to, like, wait for the preview and get chills and go and see the movie the opening night and be all excited about it again, Because... And after these next 2 movies, it's like, what the fuck am I going to have to look forward to? I mean, yeah, every once in a while there is a movie that comes out that sort of, gets you excited and you wait to go see. Like, and there are a few more within the next year or so that I'm excited. Like, of course, the 2 Hobbit movies goes without saying. The fact that Guillermo del Toro is going to continue the Hellboy series, like, that's really cool. And, like, Where the Wild Things Are is gonna come out in October, and August, friggin', Inglourious Bastards come out. Like, there's little points along the way, but to have, like, a big series to be waiting for, Like, what? There's, like, nothing else. Like, don't even talk to me about fucking... Chronicles of Narnia. Like, I really do not give a shit, and I don't think they're even going to be making any more of those movies because they were so bad. They never really picked up on, Series of Unfortunate Events, which I've never read the series. I'm going to be reading them eventually, because I like that kind of, they're little kids' books, but they're kind of fucked up, and they're, I like stuff like that. It sort of plays with, sort of more adult themes and, like, in children's literature. I'm really, honestly, I'm not that excited about the whole Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland thing. I don't know, I saw the previews. I think it's gonna be like another Willy Wonka. Like, honestly. I think it's gonna be another Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, because it's just looking like, oh my god, like, I'm Tim Burton, so I'm gonna be, like, extra Tim Burton-y. Like, I'm not gonna direct as Tim Burton, I'm going to direct as a parody of Tim Burton. Because everybody likes that. So. But, shit, my time is up. Maybe we'll go for 3 videos tonight. I don't know, let's see. Alright, I'll keep you posted.